In the true spirit of objectivity and unbiased communication, the creator of this video has chosen me, a nameless voice, to walk through it. You can call me Baritone, though. News these days is overwhelmingly negative. Or is it? Is it the content that we consume, or is it the means of consumption that makes most news depressing? Or is it a combination of both? Bad news is bad news, we can't change that. If an accident happened and people died, it needs to be reported without sugarcoating. So there's evidently nothing we can do about fixing bad news. What we can do, however, is fix how news is delivered. News is becoming highly social. More people read news through social media than through mainline news channels. This affects how we consume news. Why? Because it introduces subjectivity. Often, we choose how to feel about something based on how others around us feel, and who we hear it from. It's called the bandwagon effect. This can lead to heavily biased perception and consuming news in a way that's tinted by groupthink. Couple that with subtly vitriolic language, and the fact that most news outlets are run by corporations with heavy agendas. Yeah, we're left with a lot more than just the information that the news had to deliver to us. Like, feelings and whatnot. Sweet, eh? Yeah, no. However, we can most certainly use the social lens to our advantage. What if we could wrap news around a feel-good, community-driven platform through which we can consume it? A community driven by acts of kindness, based on a strong theme that empowers people to add a positive spin on negative news. A community that inherently favors unbiased, objective reporting of news. Enter, Random Meals of Kindness, a community platform that enables you to buy someone a free meal. That's it, a free meal. But hey, a shared meal is always the start of something endearing, innit? Random Meals of Kindness lets people sponsor free meals to other people who could use them, and helps them report the story behind the act of kindness. These stories are interspersed with community-sourced daily news, which makes consumption of negative news less foreboding and more neutral. User accounts are anonymous, as anonymity encourages objectivity and honest dialogue. The only information associated with users is the number of meals they have sponsored and delivered. As for the positive spin on a negative story, if the community sponsors free pizzas for the fire department in recognition of their efforts in putting out a fire, that makes the bad news a little more positive, doesn't it? The familiar happy face of Bob Ross tags along with news stories that are community-specific, and have a positive ending to them. It also helps users identify with the theme of the community easier, and adds to the feel-good ambience of being a part of it. All news is reported by members of the community. A voting system is in place, which lets users filter out stories that contain biased or spiteful language. As users of a happy little democracy, they are more likely to prefer neutral, straightforward reporting of news stories. This idea was conceived by a graduate student who is always on the lookout for free food. It was inspired by Random Acts of Pizza, a Reddit community where people buy pizzas for each other. The prototype of this app can be found at thisandthis.io web link. Happy news reading, everyone. Huh, really? Random Meals of Kindness has a loyal user base that has constantly supported and maintained the application, while providing valuable suggestions on improving its experience. One user felt that the homepage had too much information, and that it could be less cluttered. Another felt that the distinction between news discussions and forum discussions was not significantly clear. The feedback was duly noted by the maintainers of the application. Not sure what happened afterwards.